In this video, we will be looking at how to install Active Directory on the Windows 2016 server. The Active Directory domain service is a center for management tasks in Windows 2016 on the different versions of Windows Server that you will come across. Active Directory allows you to manage the users on the network as well as the different computers that may be added to or removed from your domain. With the use of Active Directory, you can stay at one central location and you can get pertinent information on the different computers that are connected as well as on the different users. So in other words, it also allows you to add and remove users from the network. All right, so let's go straight into it. Now, to install Active Directory, the first thing we have to do is to ensure that we are on the server manager. By default, when you open, when you just log into the desktop of the Windows 2016 server, the server manager may be up. But just in case it's not up, when you log in, let me just show you how we get to the server manager page. So we're going to click on Start, the Start button here. We're going to go up to Server Manager. Just wait for that to open. Now, the Active Directory is just one of the many roles that can be added to the server. So we're going to go to Add Roles and Features. So we're going to click on that. And then we're going to click on Next. And here we're going to select role-based or feature-based installation. Click Next. And here is the server that we are working with. All right, so we're going to just click Next. And at this point, we're going to just tick Active Directory domain services. All right. And then we can just click Add Features. All right. Now, in order for the Active Directory domain services to work, we also have to install the DNS server. So I'm going to just click on that. To make the IP address static in Windows 2016 server, just right click on your network icon, choose Open Network and Share in Sender. Go to Change Adapter Settings. Right click on the network adapter for the properties. We're going to double click on IP version 4, and here you're going to choose use the following IP address. And here we're going to specify our IP address 192.168.1 that I'm using 14. All right, leave the gateway. And for my DNS server, I'm going to use this server as a DNS server 192.168.1.14. Just click OK, and that's it. Thank you. And then we're going to click Next. And Next. All right, and then we can click Install. I'll just wait for it to be installed. At this point, we will click on Close. And what we're going to have to do now, if you notice up here, we have a little notification icon. So you can just click on it and see what it's saying. All right, so here we are told that we need to promote this server as a domain controller. All right, so we need to just hit that in order to complete the process. All right, now so let's continue. All right, so in order to promote this server as a domain controller, we need to set up our domain. Now we're given 3 options here. We have the option to add the domain controller to an existing domain, or to add a new domain to an existing forest. Now, since we're doing an initial setup what we're going to do is to add a new forest. All right, so we're going to just specify our domain name. So for example, we could have myco.edu. All right, so we could use something like that for a domain name. Then we're going to just click next. All right, so at this point, we're going to specify a password. All right. So please remember your password. You're going to need it in order to add different computers to your domain and so on. All right, so we can just leave the default here and just click next. The net bias will be filled out for us automatically as soon as this process is complete. All right, so we can just click next. And we click next. And just review what is there. All right, so we're almost through. Just click next. All right, so as you can see, the installation process is pretty straightforward. Just waiting. Okay, so at this point, what we're going to do now is we're going to just click on install. So once installation is finished, you will be logged out automatically. So it's going to log me out. And the server is going to be restarted. All right, so as soon as it's restarted, then we can get back in. All right, so now that the server has been restarted, we're going to log into the domain, which is myco. So the username we're going to be using is myco/administrator. I'm going to put in myco, in this case, is a domain. I'll put in our password. Then we should be at the desktop shortly. All right, so here we go. We're back at the desktop. The server manager page is coming up. We should be seeing the Active Directory domain service showing up shortly. All right, so the different roles will be listed down here on the roles and server groups. So just wait just a little while, and next we will see it here. All right, so here we go. We have our different roles or Active Directory domain services, as well as the DNS that has been added to this domain. All right, so we're gonna head over just to take a look at what our Active Directory looks like in terms of the users and the computers. All right, so we'll go over to Active Directory users and computers. All right, so just go into tools and choose Active Directory users and computers. Now here is our domain. It's myco.edu. So if you click here, you'll see the options for the different computers that may be added. may have been added, different users. Currently, we do not have any computer, but we have some default users. All right. So I want to show you how to add a user, and then we look at how to add a computer. Right, so to add a user, I'm going to just right click on user. I'm going to go to new, and we're going to choose user. And here we're going to just specify our information. First name. All right, and then we specify username. And there we go. So we're using the myco.edu domain. And click on next. You're going to specify a password. All right. And I'm going to leave it ticked that the user must change the password and next login. All right, so next. And finish. All right, so that's how we go about adding a user. As you can see now here in the list, we have the user on Patreon. All right, now, in addition to just adding the user, there are different groups that a user may be associated with. All right, so if you notice here, when you double click on the particular user, all right, so let's go back to the, all right, here's the administrator one. If you go to member of, you realize that the administrator is a member of the administrator group, the domain admin group, the domain user group, the enterprise admin group, and so forth. So these are different groups that the admins are part of. Right, so if we go to Adrian, let's look at the member of. So currently, I'm just a member of the domain user group. Right, so I could add other groups, that is to make the user that is added as member of different groups. Right, so to see the different groups, you can just click advanced and just choose final. And you can see different groups that we may add. Right, so I'm going to add it to the user. Let's add some more. Make it administrator. So let's see if there are other. Domain admin. It's already a part of the domain admin. And so those should be fine for now. All right, so this is very important. So this aspect of the Active Directory domain service allows you to categorize the user in terms of adding them to different groups, and then later on you can apply different rules for different groups. Let's click apply. Okay. All right, so in this video, we're going to look quickly as to how we may add a workstation to a domain. So let's just quickly look at the IP configuration that we have. Right, so first of all, we need to make sure that our IP is configured properly. And what we can do here, since we're using the server as the domain, we're going to use the IP address for the server here as our preferred DNS server. All right, so we can use it for the preferred DNS server. All right. All right, so having done that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to computer, right click, go to properties, and then we're going to go to change settings. And down here, we're going to click change. Currently, this machine is a part of a work group, so we're going to choose domain. We can change the PC name here as well. So I'm just going to specify the domain name that we have configured previously on the server. Michael. Okay. And here I'll be prompted to enter the credential to join the server, the domain. Right. Once you have entered that, the username and password, just click OK. And then we'll be prompted as soon as the machine has been added to the domain. All right, so there it is. They say welcome to the microdomain. Just click OK. And we are gonna have to restart our machine. So we're gonna do that now. And once it's back up, then we can look at how to log in. All right, so as soon as that machine is back, we will look at it. All right, so now that our machine is back, we're gonna log into the machine by typing the domain name here, followed by the username. So let's say I want to log in using the username that we'd have created earlier on, and put in the password. And of course, we have to change the password, because remember we'd have selected that when we were creating the username. The new password. All right, so once that is done, so the password has been changed successfully. And there it is. So I'm able to log in using the username that I would have created earlier on. So just taking a little while to prepare the desktop. There it is. So we have successfully logged in. All right, using our have successfully logged into the domain using the username Leghorn that we created earlier on. So also let's look back on the server. I head back over to the server. All right, so on the server here, so we have the, I just need to refresh this. All right, so if we refresh, when looking at computer, we should notice that we have the computer that we added earlier on. Also, if we look on the user, we'd have seen that we have the user that we'd have created earlier on. So pretty much that is how we go about adding a PC or adding a workstation to our domain. All right, so thank you for watching.